Hey, Treasure History! Today's essential question is, what happened during the Persian Wars? You don't need your notebook today, just follow along on the Tuesday page of your packet. Since there are only 38 more history classes until we crush the history I-Leap, we're going to start having some review questions every day. Let's see if you can remember what you learned in Unit 1. Last week we talked about life in Sparta and how it was different from life in Athens. Which statement most accurately describes the life of a citizen of Sparta? Today we're going to learn about a nearly 50-year period of violence while the Persian Empire tried to conquer Greece. This period of time is called the Persian Wars. The Persian Wars were a series of wars fought between the Persians and the Greeks from 492 BC up until 449 BC. Now you need to begin to follow along on your passage. Make sure to annotate, circle vocab words, underline key details, and write a summary for every 1 or 2 paragraphs. Here we go. The Persian Empire was the largest and most powerful empire in the world at the time of the Persian Wars. The Persians controlled land that stretched all the way from Egypt in the west to India in the east. The Ionians were a group of Greeks that lived along the coast of Turkey. They lived in the area that is circled. But the Persians conquered these Greeks. And when the Ionians decided to rebel against the Persians, they asked Athens and other Greek cities for help. The other Greek cities sent ships and weapons, but they were quickly defeated. Still, the Persians didn't like this, that they had even tried to rebel, so they decided to conquer the rest of the Greek city-states in order to keep Greece under control. So Darius I, king of Persia, gathered a vast army of soldiers that outnumbered any army the Greeks could muster. Here's a picture of the Persian soldiers. They boarded the Persian fleet and headed to Greece. A fleet means a group of boats, like a navy. The Greek city-states of Athens and Sparta usually fought against one another, but in this case, the Greeks and Athenians banded together to fight against the Persians and keep the independence of Greece. Press pause on this video and leave the tab open because you're going to come back to this video, but now you're going to watch a different video clip from the History Channel about the Athenians and Spartans getting ready to beat the Persians. Go back to your playlist and click where it says Preparing for Battle. Okay, if you're seeing this, you should be done with watching the video clip from the History Channel. Now let's continue on your passage, starting with the Persian Fleet. The Persian fleet landed at the Bay of Marathon, about 25 miles from the city of Athens. The Bay of Marathon is circled here in this picture. The Persians had a lot more soldiers, but they underestimated the fighting capability of the Greeks. The army of Athens destroyed the Persian army, killing around 6,000 Persians and only losing 192 Greeks. Have you ever heard of someone running a marathon? After the battle, the Athenian army ran the 25 miles back to Athens in order to prevent the Persians from attacking the city. This is the origin of the marathon running race, which still today is called a marathon when you run 26 miles. Ten years later, in 480 BC, the son of Darius I, who was named King Xerxes, decided to get his revenge on the Greeks for their humiliation of his father. He amassed a huge army of over 200,000 soldiers and 1,000 warships. I want to add that if you watch the movie 300, this character is King Xerxes. Notice how different he looks than what the real King Xerxes looked like. So here's the Persians collecting their army, getting ready to send this huge group of people to Greece. The Greeks, led by this king Leonidas, put together a small force. The force was made up of King Leonidas leading 300 Spartans. The Spartans and Leonidas decided to meet the Persians at a narrow pass in the mountains called Thermopylae. The Greeks held off the Persians, killing thousands, until the Persians found a way around the mountains and got behind the Greeks. King Leonidas told most of his troops to flee, but he stayed behind with a small force, including 300 Spartans, in order to allow the rest of the Greek army to escape. The Spartans fought to the death, killing as many Persians as they could. Now it's time to see the 300 Spartans in action. Pause this video, but leave this tab open. Go back to your playlist and click on the 300 Spartans. When you're done watching that video, which is from the movie 300, please come back to this tab and press play. Okay, if you're seeing this, you should be done watching the clip from the movie 300. The Persian army continued to march on Greece. When they arrived at the city of Athens, they found it deserted. There were no more Athenians left. The people of Athens had fled. The Athenian fleet, however, which is remembered like their navy, was waiting off the coast by the island of Salamis. The much larger Persian fleet attacked the small Athenian ships. The Persians were sure of their victory. However, the Athenian ships, called triremes, which is what's pictured here, were fast and maneuverable. They rammed into the sides of the large Persian ships and sunk them. The Athenians soundly defeated the Persians, causing King Xerxes to retreat back to Persia. So the Greeks won and kept their independence. Persia did not rule Greece. Greece continued to rule Greece. Now X out of this tab, close your computer, and begin working on your summaries on your paper.